Hi everyone. In this video we're going to do a couple of forex calculations, and first of all I want to tell you I'm going to try to keep this video under 15 minutes. So if you feel I'm going through this calculations a bit too fast, do not stress, do not worry. You can always visit the video again and watch it over and over. But I think 15 minutes would be ample enough time to go through it so that you understand it. First of all, the first thing I want you to notice is that when you are presented with forex calculations in your exam, you will always also be presented with a currency rate sheet like the one you see on top here. Right? Now sometimes the currency rate sheet can be in one of two formats. The first format would be this format that you see here, where you are given the currency, in this case US dollars, British pounds, Japanese yen, Australian dollar and euro. Down this column here you will see the currency. The second column would be the currency code, and in the third column would be the exchange rate or the price of that currency in South African rand as on a certain date. So in other words, how do we read this? Remember, in the previous video I told you read a currency rate sheet as if the currencies are products, as if it is apples or pears or whatever that you're going to a shop to buy, and then they give you the price of the product down here. So in this case it will read 1 US dollar is 7 rand, will cost you 7 rand and 62 cents. 1 British pound will cost you 11 rand and 99 cents. 1 Japanese yen will cost you 9 South African cents. Can you see it is actually basically a price list where these are the products and that is the price of the products in South African rand. Okay, so that is the first format of this currency rate sheet. The second format would be where the examiners actually want to test whether or not you know the difference between bank buying rate and bank selling rate. Now remember the first video. If you still don't understand it, visit the first video or the previous video to this, to the one that we are watching right now. In that video I showed you that they can also sometimes give you a currency rate sheet where they add 2 extra columns here, and then the extra columns one would be the bank buying rate and another one would be the bank selling rate. Right? But in this scenario, for this calculations, you are presented with a currency rate sheet in this format where you don't still have to worry to know the difference between bank buying rate or bank selling rate. They're only giving you one rate for each of these currencies. So let's look at our first calculation. The first calculation is a South African visits London. I think that word there should be omitted there. A South African visits London. He will need 110 pounds for accommodation. Calculate the amount in South African rand. So the first thing we see here is you have to take the 110 pounds and convert it into South African rand. Now please note, this is where a lot of learners make the mistake. So they know they have to either take the amount and they have to take the exchange rate, and then they must either times or they must either divide, and then learners get confused as to when they must use the multiplication or when they must use division. And I always just want you to come back to this video if you are at any time confused about the issue. Always remember, when you convert foreign currency into South African rand, in this case pound to rand, it's always multiplication. So there's your answer. The first step would be decide which currency you're going to convert into what other currency, and our answer is pounds to rand. And that will lead you on to the second part, where if you convert a foreign currency into South African rand, you always multiply. So what are we going to multiply? In this case we are going to multiply 110 pounds multiply by the exchange rate, which is 11 rand and 99 cents. So your calculation is going to look like follow. You're going to take out your calculator, you're going to punch in 110 times 11.99, and your calculator is going to give you an answer of 1,318 rand and 90 cents. So 110 pounds converted into South African rand is going to give you 1,318 rand and 90 cents. Right, let's continue to the next calculation. In this calculation, they say a group of American tourists visit South Africa for 5 days. Their tour leader suggests that they should each prepare to spend about 100 rand per day on lunch. Calculate the lunch budget for each American in US dollars. I want you to notice something. I've highlighted all the key words or all the important information in blue, and that's exactly what you should do when you read your question paper. Any question, any scenario, what you should do is make sure you understand. Read 2-3 times until you understand what information is given to you. Underline the key bits of information that you're going to need, and then also make sure you underline the actual question so that you are absolutely clear as to what is required of you, right, when you answer this. So let's calculate this. First of all, we're going to decide which currency are we going to convert into what other currency. And when we read this and we understand the scenario, we're going to see that to answer this question, we're going to have to convert South African rand into US dollars, because each one is going to spend 100 rand a day over 5 days, and then you have to convert that amount of rand into dollars. So it's South African rand into US dollars. So the previous calculation, you saw that when you convert a foreign currency into rand, you use the multiplication formula. But in this case, you are going to convert South African rand into a foreign currency. South African rand into any foreign currency, you use the division formula. Okay, so in this case, we're going to have to convert the 100 rand over the 5 days is going to give you 500 rand. Can you see the 100 rand times 5? And then we're going to divide that by the exchange rate. And remember, when we do dealing with dollars, we have to come up here with the currency rate sheet, find US dollar, slide across this row and find the exchange rate, which is 7 rand and 62 cents. So there, can you see how easy it is when you follow the simple logical steps? So it's 500 rand divided by 7 rand and 62 cents. And all you have to do is to punch into your calculator 500 divide by 7.62, and your answer is going to be $65.62. Okay, candidates, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, I'm going to end the video there. So basically, you've done 2 types of calculations. One, converting Forex into South African rand, and the other one converting South African rand into Forex. That is basically the 2 type of calculations that you're going to have to deal with. And then also important, like I explained, you're going to need to know how to interpret the currency rate sheet. So if at all you get confused about it or you forget how to do it, just revisit this video, and I would appreciate it if you can share this video with friends. And if you like the video, leave a comment below. Visit the description below this video, click on the link, and you might also visit my blog or my website to find some more tourism resources. I really hope that this video was of benefit to you.